at that time.
SantaCon, you can do a pub crawl with a bunch of drunk Santas.
And SantaCon was going on that weekend as well, where I don't know if they do it on purpose, but SantaCon was going on last year the same time, so that was kind of interesting. The boardwalk, a bunch of the boardwalk stuff is open.
As long as you're not hungry, you're not going to get food on the boardwalk
unless you just want
fries.
But they're not open terribly late, so you can't do the convention till 5 o'clock and think, oh well, now I'm going to go to the boardwalk for a couple of hours. So you do have to kind of look to see what time places are open to. We tried 2 new places to eat.
Absolutely.
And both were really good, so we would highly, recommend that. So again, for us, it's about a 2.5 hour ride, and makes a nice little, weekend, getaway. So
this year they actually expanded the show floor. They had 30% more space here. They opened up a back room. I have it on good authority that they're going to be expanding it again next year. They improved their food process. They improved their ticketing process. They're looking into doing online ticketing sales next year as well to speed that process up. We were very fortunate. We bought them at the hotel ahead of time, so we were able to get right in. They also are looking, not next year, but possibly the following year, to expand it to 2 days. So what's really nice is it's a great convention. And it's a convention that they're taking the profits and pouring it back into it and making it better and better.
Yeah.
So just over 2 years of going, we've seen it get better, and they're making it even better after that. So it's a local convention run by locals, but it's people who are passionate.
Right.
It's local artists who are running it.
Yeah.
So they know what a convention needs to have to be successful.
Right.
So it's kind of a breath of fresh air to see that kind of thing. It's not some corporate conglomeration who's just out there churning out conventions to make money. It's people who are there at the conventions, which you can really tell the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that, that we commented on, and when you had talked to, your coworker about it, they, said, that was kind of the point. Most conventions that you go to, you have, here's this vendor aisle and this vendor aisle, and here's all of our artists. We kind of put them in Artist Alley, away. And you have a lot of people that never even go down Artist Alley because they're not interested in all of that. And, and in some cases it's a shame because there's some really good artists there, that just want to be recognized. And what was nice was here, they mixed them in with everybody else. So it wasn't here is just the vendor selling this, and here's just the people doing this. Here's a mix of everything.
Absolutely.
So you'd have, an artist next to somebody else. So if it was something that you weren't interested in the artist, okay, so you walk right past them, or you give a nod and you look at the next person. Or maybe because you're looking at the one vendor, oh, there's an artist here. Oh, let me look and see what you have. So that was kind of nice that it was kind of blended a little bit better than some of the other, conventions that we've gone to.
So Ocean City Comic Con, definitely recommend it again. Before we do go, let's talk seasonal stuff.
Sure.
We've done one so far. We may be doing another one this weekend. What did we do so far?
So we did Night of Lights at Creamy Acres. So this was one that when they started doing the lights, it was only a wagon ride through. You weren't driving through. So you had to be in one of their wagons riding through. And then with the pandemic, they changed it over so that you could drive your own car. So this year they actually brought back the wagons, but you're still able to drive your car through, which is nice because then you don't have to, especially if it's cold or the weather is questionable, you don't have to worry about.
Or if their music is terrible.
Right. Then you can listen to your own music. So this is one that we've done the past couple of years. It's a little local for us. And what's nice is after, you're done going through, they do have a little shop area. You can go and see Santa. They do have fire pits now, because I think last year, I don't think they were doing fire pits just yet.
No.
I can't remember. So they had fire pits. You could buy a little s'mores kit, which was $4 or something to make 2 s'mores. But hey, but they had a little bit more food available. They had like a bakery area, and then they had, like cheesesteaks and chicken fingers and, some fried stuff.
All that Christmassy food. And then they have a couple of characters, walking around. creepy
characters. But it's nice because it's a local farm that does this. You can buy your tickets online, or you can buy them there, and a nice little enjoyable drive-through Christmas light display.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. What are we doing this weekend?
So we are probably, depending on what the weather is, I'm guessing maybe Shady Brook.
Yeah, probably.
We also are fortunate enough that Diggerland, which they happen to do a drive-through one as well, so maybe we'll give them a try.
Well, and Shady Brook is probably the biggest in our area. That one's up in Bucks County,
right,
Pennsylvania.
Right, that one's further for us to go to, and depending on what the weather is like.
And usually what we'll do is, if it's a decent day, we'll go up, we'll hit Peddler's Village, we'll stay there, we'll hit there in late afternoon. They turn their lights on fairly early. You get to enjoy those lights, and then on the way home,
we drive.
We'll hit Shady Brook.
Right, and if because I think the last time we went, I think it started raining when we got done, so we didn't do any of the fire pits, because that's another thing too, is they started having fire pits, but you actually had to make reservations, or they had private
ones you could do,
but they had public ones too.
We had to fight for a couple cheeks on the bench.
Right. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's always that fun part of fighting around the fire that we love to do around the holidays.
But now we have our own, fire pit. So
right. We have to assemble that this weekend.
We have to assemble that this
weekend.
Find
stuff to burn. We'll be throwing furniture and stuff in there.
So if you got anything you need to burn,
bring it over. Just make sure it's cut down real small.
Right.
It's not a big pit. So anyway, I think that's all we had for the show this week. Hopefully we'll be back on a regular cadence moving forward now.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see about that. I took a couple of weeks off because I just wasn't feeling up to it. So
right.
Moving forward, hopefully we'll be a little more. Before we do go, though, I do once again want to ask you to subscribe to the podcast. You can find audio and video versions of our podcast listed as Insights into Things. We're available on Pandora, Castro, Stitcher, Podbean, Buzzsprout, any place you can find a podcast these days. You can also find this show listed as Insights into Entertainment as well on your podcast listings. Feel free to email us, write into us at comments@insightsintothings.com. Hit us up on Twitter. We do accept DMs if you want to send some over with suggestions or just feedback on how we're doing. You can hit us at twitter.com/insights_things. I'm stealing all your lines here, aren't I?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
You're next. You do the rest.
So you can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/insightsintothingspodcast. You can find us on Instagram if I ever decide to post there again, on instagram.com/insightsintothings. But obviously the best place to go would be our official website, which has links to everything that we do, and that is insightsintothings.com.
That's it. Another one in the books.
Have a good week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Insightful podcasts by informative hosts. Insights into Things, a podcast Podcast Network. Welcome to Insights into Teens, a podcast series exploring the issues and challenges of today's youth. Your hosts are Joseph and Madison Whalen, a father and daughter team making their way through the challenges of the teenage years.
Welcome to Insights into Teens. This is episode 158, Shyness. I'm your host, Joseph Whalen, and my upbeat and positive co-host, Madison Whalen.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing today, Maddie?
I'm all right. How about you?
I'm doing okay. So the holidays are over. We're getting back into the swing of things. We kind of shut the studio down unplanned for the holiday. I wasn't even doing any of our restreams. We unfortunately did not get a chance to put out a holiday special this year. Things just caught up with us, I think, you know. So we're getting back into the swing of things. We've got a pretty large slate of shows actually lined up right now.
Yep.
We've got this is 158. We're through 168 now. So we've got an additional 10 shows already prepped and ready to go.
And I'm planning on making 2 more.
And you've got 2 more that you're working on. So yeah, we should have a pretty productive 2023.
Yep.
I have to get used to that now. I had an incident today at work where I had to sign a document and I was still putting 2022. So it's going to take me about 3 months to break that habit.
Thankfully, I've actually, surprisingly, I'm not really having that issue. I did, unfortunately, mix up the January day. I did the 3rd today, even though it's the 4th.
Well, that's not too bad. At least you got the year right. So, anything exciting going on at school to talk about?
Not really. We're back in school after a wonderful 10-day break.
Wonderful, huh?
I mean,
That's a sign of someone who loves school.
And, my friend Aaron, specifically today, was, teasing me because he's, out and on vacation now, and we got each other's numbers, and, he's saying, how, oh my god, it's so great to not be in school again, and I'm like, yep.
Wow, he's on vacation again?
Yeah.
My goodness. Okay, more power to him.
Yep.
So today, we're talking about shyness. Some people welcome new experiences and new people. They look forward to any opportunity to socialize. They're often the first to introduce themselves, and they jump into conversations easily. Anybody come to mind? Your mother's very much like that.
Yeah.
She's much more sociable than you and I.
Yep.
Other people are quiet and shy and prefer to warm up slowly to new people or situations. In today's episode of Insights into Teens, we'll talk about what shyness is, why people are shy, and how to cope with shyness. But before we do that, I would like to invite our listening and viewing audience to subscribe to the podcast. You can find audio versions of this podcast listed as Insights into Teens. You can find audio and video of all the network's podcasts listed as Insights into Things. And you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, pretty much any place you can find podcasts these days. I would also invite you to write in, give us your feedback, tell us how we're doing, tell us show suggestions. We're always looking for new show suggestions and topics to talk about. You can email us at comments@insightsintothings.com. On Twitter, you can hit us at insights_things. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/insightsintothingspodcast. On Instagram, we're at instagram.com/insightsintothings. Or you can get us on our website at www.insightsintothings.com. Are we ready?
I guess we have to be.
Here we go. So what is shyness? So today's research came from kidshealth.org. Shyness is an emotion that affects how a person feels and behaves around others. Shyness can mean feeling uncomfortable, self-conscious, nervous, bashful, timid, or insecure. People who feel shy sometimes notice physical sensations like blushing or feeling speechless. You may feel shaky or just get breathless sometimes. Shyness is the opposite of being at ease with yourself around others. When people feel shy, they might hesitate to say or do something because they're feeling unsure of themselves and they're not ready to be noticed.
So, reacting to new things. New and unfamiliar situations can bring out shy feelings, like the first day of school, meeting someone new, or speaking in front of a group for the first time. People are more likely to feel shy when they're not sure how to act, don't know how others will react, or when attention is on them. People are less likely to feel shy in situations where they know what to expect, feel sure of what to do or say, and are among familiar people. Like other emotions, shy feelings can be mild, medium, or intense, depending on the situation and the person. Someone who usually or often feels shy might think of themselves as a shy person. People who are shy may need more time to get used to the change. They might prefer to stick with what's familiar. People who are shy often hesitate before trying something new. They often prefer watching others before joining in on a group activity. They usually take longer to warm up to new people and situations. Sometimes being quiet and introverted is a sign that someone has a naturally shy personality, but that's not always the case. Being quiet is not always the same as being shy.
So you've described yourself as being introverted numerous times in the past. And I think both of us know that you and I really aren't the outgoing type.
Yep.
It takes me a while to get warmed up too. Do you think you're shy?
Probably there's something. I definitely think that I'm shy to some extent.
How do you think you react to new things? Like they're specifically talking about unfamiliar situations or people that you don't know. What's your first reaction when you're put in a situation like that where maybe you're in a new environment or you're exposed to new people? Is that something that you embrace? Do you look forward to that? Do you enjoy it? Or is it something that you grudgingly kind of tolerate?
I grudgingly tolerate, sometimes not even that. I just internally panic inside and I kind of just try to stay as far out of certain situations as I can, and if I have to be in those situations, I normally don't say anything.
So when that happens, can you rationalize why you feel that way? What's causing that panic? Is it that you might have to speak to people you're not familiar with? Is there an anxiety associated with it? Like what do those feelings, what's the origin of those feelings when you're in that sort of situation?
I feel a lot of it can kind of be the fact that I don't like new things and I have an issue talking with new people. I get nervous because I don't know the person and I don't really feel comfortable talking with them, and having to be in a situation where, yeah, you gotta talk with a new person, I don't really want to do that. I get nervous. I don't really know what I should be saying in certain situations, and a lot of complicated emotions can kind of run through my head at that point.
So does this stem from a specific experience? Does it stem from my reaction to people? Is that sort of what sets it in? Or is it a less rational source of anxiety that you experience?
I think my idea is that I don't easily trust people, kind of like how you do. You don't really, trust the first person you see, and I don't really want to trust the first person I see. I guess a lot of it can some instances it might just be a fear of my own life, but obviously that's a bit more irrational in a lot of cases. Other times it's just I don't feel I'm a big people person, so I may not know how to interact with a new person. And again, it goes to the trusting issue. I don't really open up to just anybody, so...
So have you had instances in which you've been put into an unfamiliar situation or a situation where you've had to interact with people and you've had a negative experience, like something like my thing has always been, I envision myself doing something stupid, humiliating myself, or, this irrational fear that I'm going to say something that's inappropriate, or someone's going to get mad at me or something like that. Have you ever had an experience like that where you've had an interaction that may be triggering some of that anxiety?
I think where the best I can really think of is when I say something I didn't mean to say, mainly just embarrassing myself by like saying something stupid. One of the biggest examples I can think of is when I get an answer wrong, like when I think I know the answer and then I don't, and then it's wrong, and then like I embarrass myself. And that's kind of just my general consensus when I talk to new people. It's just I don't want to say something that would either be considered wrong or would just embarrass me.
And it's funny you say that, because I think some of the experiences that I've had have stemmed from situations like that. Like in high school, I'm the type of person who, in case you don't watch the podcast and don't know, I joke around a lot. And I'm the type of person who I deal with my anxieties through humor. A lot of times it's self-deprecating humor. A lot of times it's just something to break the ice, to alleviate things. If I can get the other person to laugh, or the group to laugh that I'm with, then I feel better about it. And what I found in high school was there are times that I would say something without really thinking it through. And even after high school, it sounds funny in my head, but once it comes out, it might not be funny, or it might be inappropriate, or someone might take offense to it. And when I get that negative reaction, it causes me to shut down.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can't really even rely on humor because I don't think that my mind is particularly funny, or I can't really make jokes up on my own.
Oh, I didn't say I was funny.
Well, I know. It's just like I don't rely on humor because I know my humor can be bad when I attempt it, and I don't think that I find myself funny, and thus I don't think other people would find me funny, so I can't even rely on that to try to alleviate the anxiety.
You'd be surprised. You make a lot of very comical side comments here and there that are very funny.
I think a lot of that can kind of just be the fact that when I'm more comfortable with somebody, I can maybe make those comments.
And I think that's what it is that there's a comfort level there that we see that other people don't. Do you think your shyness holds you back from things? Do you think it prevents you from doing things or interacting in ways that you might otherwise want to?
Yeah, honestly, the biggest example I can really think of is during marching band when we would have lunch. My shyness would not really get me to sit at like a table with other people, and I'd like if I could have done that so that maybe it didn't feel I would actually have more friends and I could maybe enjoy marching band a bit more, but due to my shyness, and even though I would really like to sit with somebody during lunch, I'm limited and I either sit alone until my friend Carly would allow me to join their table, or I just sit alone the entire time.
Now, that's an interesting point that you make there. Do you think if people would initiate that contact with you, that it would help to alleviate some of that discomfort and anxiety and you'd be more open? Or do you think that would is that something that turns you off? Like, I don't like it when people approach me. It's something that makes me feel kind of uncomfortable when and it's that trust issue with me. Like, if somebody comes up to me and starts a conversation with me and I don't know who they are, and it happens all the time, and I don't know why. Like, if you look at me and you see me on the podcast, I'm not the friendliest looking person. I'm what I tend to describe as an ogre. And there are instances that it scared people away and they leave me alone. And I'm okay with that. But there are times that I'm out in public and people just walk up to me and start conversations. My mother used to be the same way. And she used to love it because she was very social. But when people do that to me, it kind of puts me on guard. Is that something that would open you up more, or is that something that would shut you down more?
Honestly, I still kind of have a similar problem. It's like when people just randomly like approach me and like kind of just say hey, like I get put off by that. Like when Lucas first like said hi to me again after how many years we weren't really talking to each other, I was put off. I'm like, who are you?
Okay.
So yeah, I want to have people initiate the conversation, but then I also don't.
So okay, so if it's something that you know is holding you back from things, is it something that if you knew how to overcome it, you would choose to do that? Or is it you're just accepting the way you are at this point in time?
I think my main issue with it that I've kind of concluded is that I don't like bothering people, and I think like just asking them simple things like, hey, can I sit at lunch with you guys, is bothering them. I guess I have the idea of, like, you know, the typical high school thing when, like, the nerd kid tries to ask the popular kids, like, hey, can I sit at lunch with you? And then they all, like, just look at you and, like, no. Or, like, they just...
You know what? Just because you're number one in your class doesn't make you the nerd kid. Just for the record, it makes you the smart kid.
I know.
Okay. So, okay, I think I've got a better understanding of where you're coming from here. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and we'll explore why some people are shy and why some people aren't shy. We'll be right back.
Alrighty.
For over 7 years, the Second Sith Empire has been the premier community guild in the online game Star Wars: The Old Republic. With hundreds of friendly and helpful active members, a weekly schedule of nightly events, annual guild meet and greets, and an active community both on the web and on Discord. The Second Sith Empire is more than your typical gaming group. We're family. Join us on the Starforge server for nightly events such as operations, flashpoints,